What's up, everybody? This is the Booch, and welcome to episode 29 of the Boochcast Reviews, Darkside of the Ring. We are back again with another great episode, and of course, joining me, I have the broke soulless ginger, Mr.
Hello.
Zach Scott. Very energetic this go around, which is exciting. And of course, we've got probably a pretty fucked up one to get into today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. This one is called Xtreme and Obscene Rob Black's XPW. This is, Zach, without giving anything away, how'd this episode go?
I'm into wrestling, and like single guys like Vinny here and myself and a lot of other people, I do enjoy pornography. But what this guy has done, what makes me want to take a chainsaw and chop his fucking head off.
Oh, yeah.
I like porn, dude, and I don't mind seeing the girl get tied up like this right here. But when it comes to blow torches and screwdrivers and a lot of weird shit, even I go, fuck no.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you need help. I'm going to go call Dr. Phil. Catch you later.
Yeah.
The question is, was Rob Black drunk or on anything when he made this fucked up shit?
Most likely, yes. So anyway, Rob Black combined his passion for violent death matches and proactive adult films.
Couldn't you do regular, like, hardcore, but matches, not death matches, and combine that together somehow?
Well, you've seen the porn he makes. Clearly he's into sick shit, and death matches is sick fucking shit.
Makes the business look bad.
Really does. Now, XPW was known for being crazy. New Jack said there were death matches every night that gave him a license to kill. And oh boy, did he.
Oh, yes he did.
New Jack, this was like breathing ground for New Jack to just fucking snap and beat people up and all that shit. But the difference is, there's a difference between New Jack and the average deathmatch guy. The average deathmatch guy did that just for the hell of it. New Jack only did that if you pissed him off. Like, he stabbed a motherfucker because he was stiffing him. Mm-hmm. He was throwing potatoes, and he's like, you trying to bow up to me? All right. Bam, 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 bam. I'll stab your ass.
Stab your ass.
He's like, hell, I'll fucking shoot you. I'll fucking shoot your ass if I can go with you toe to toe. Fuck that. They could humiliate and degrade people.
Is that what you call it? I thought I'd be like, yeah, and I saw that. Like, no, I'm not doing that to myself. Sorry. No.
Yeah.
When it comes to light bulbs and weed eaters and all that happy horse shit, I'm like, you guys are fucking insane. And I'll say this one, these death matches makes Gators and Finney's business look bad. You know how I didn't say me because I am not part of the business. I'm just
you're not.
There.
You're just analyzing. Speaking of which, you want to guess the next?
All right. The next thing admits, in order to become America's top hardcore wrestling outfit, XPW celebrated those who performed increasingly dangerous stunts.
So that was their goal. They wanted to become the top hardcore wrestling company. That's why they did all this. They weren't looking to become the top wrestling promotion on the planet. They wanted to be the most hardcore company, and death matches are the way to go if you're trying to be the most hardcore. But again, people don't understand the difference between a hardcore match and a death match. A hardcore match involves a little thing we like to call psychology. Exactly. That's the difference. Now, Rob Black had no appreciation for wrestling because he had no fucking clue about wrestling. None. Rob always thought of himself as a mafia guy in the sense that nobody leaves the family. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say it right here. Rob Black, the reason he had no clue about the business is because he's a fucking mark with money. And when you're a mark who has lots and lots of money, like some people we know, and by we, I mean us as a wrestling community know, a certain individual from Jacksonville who has lots of money can pretty much let people run roughshod all over. So that's why we have a mark with money. You're just doing shit to do it. Like, all right, everybody, go out there, have a good time, and cut yourself from here to here, and we'll have fun after the show. And that's your pep talk before they go out to the ring.
That's where I pack my bag and go, get you later, alligator.
Oh, here's how fucked up it was. Dude Jack told a story one time where Rob Black tried to book himself in a match with Sabu. And at one point, they're in the middle, they're having the match, they're working, and Rob Black gets blown up. So at one point, he rolls out of the ring. They had somebody dressed up to look like Rob Black get back in the ring and continue the match. And then, just when about to get to the finish, he says, Jack, come on, throw me back in the ring. So Jack picks him up, throws him back in the ring, and Rob Black goes over on Sabu. If that don't tell you he's a mark, nothing. A guy who's never wrestled gets a pinfall victory on Sabu. And Sabu's the type of guy where you pay him enough money, he'll job to pretty much anybody. Not trying to hate on Sabu, I'm just stating facts.
He wasn't upset about it, was he?
To my knowledge, no. You have to ask him in an interview. But I know Sabu, he doesn't really have a problem jobbing on indie shows, but he doubles his price if you job him. I saw a show one night where he jobbed to this guy, Murder One, who's fantastic. If you saw Daytime Fighting League, you know who Murder One is. He was the big black dude explaining all the fights and how they work. Murder One's a great guy. Love him. He got a victory over Sabu. The amount of money that they made at the gate, all of it went to pay Sabu. The other wrestlers got IOUs. Now, they all eventually got paid back, but he couldn't pay the rest of his workers that night because Sabu pretty much took all the money. Because Sabu charges extra if you job him. He has the fee if I win, here's the fee if I lose. The fee to lose is more expensive. Because if Sabu's going to take a 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, damn it, he's going to make it financially worth his while. So, that's how that should work. And of course, his whole, nobody leaves the family. What the fuck that means is basically he's one of these indie guys where if you work for him, you work for only him. He ain't gonna let you go work for other people. You understand? Because he don't understand that he's an indie promotion. See, my belief system is if you make somebody, anybody, fucking work for you and only you, then you are responsible for taking care of that guy. That guy should be making money. That guy should make enough money to where he ain't gotta work nowhere else. You know, people give Vince McMahon a lot of shit signing people to exclusive fucking contracts, but at least with Vince, you make enough money to where you ain't gotta work nobody else.
True.
So, at least there's that.
Yep.
Because there's some people that'll tell you, but not only will they not pay you a lot of money, they'll borrow from you on top of that. So it's a shady fucking place to be.
Yep.
You know? So that's fucking stupid. He's like, I want everybody to be only on my team. Well, if you're gonna do that, you better take care of your fucking team. Because if you ain't taking care of your fucking team, then by making them work for only you, you're stifling them. You're preventing that person from feeding their actual family. So you think you got a family, but really, a family to these guys is, hey, my family is my fucking wife, my fucking kids. That's my family. That's who I'm making this money for. To keep a roof over my wife's head, so we got a comfortable bed we can fuck in, and then I got kids, I want a roof over their head when they're sleeping, because the government will put me in jail if I fucking don't. I mean, I love my kids, but let's be honest. The reason you put up with their crap is because you go to jail if you don't. I mean, let's keep it a buck here. Let's call a spade a spade. You know what the fuck I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what the fuck I'm saying?
Yes.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Because you're a smart kid. It's a good egg over here. But this fucking guy, he don't take care of no damn body. Rob Black, piece of shit. Anyway, so, Zach, what else happened here?
The violence in the ring bleeds out into real life. Rob Black's command over a legion of young wrestlers began to crumble as the amount of legal bills forced his wrestling empire to implode.
Yep, because that's the problem, ladies and gentlemen, when you're a mark with money. You get too crazy, the power goes to your head, And everybody thinks they're gonna get out before Scarface. But nope, it don't happen.
Nope.
Let's see what we got here. They pushed the envelope until there was nothing left to push. And they went too far, even for the most hardcore of fans. That is fucking amazing.
True.
Wait, imagine going so far that even the deathmatch people are like, I'm out of here, bro.
I'm like you need help.
Yeah.
Rob Black declined to be part of the show. Jessica Darling, who was wrestling valet and adult film actress, was more than happy to speak on the show. She was part of XPW for 2 years and was part of World's Porn Company for 4 years.
Yeah. So she did porn for 4 years and was in XPW for 2. Because that's how Rob would save money. He would have the porn stars in his films be valets. You know, I'll take these hot ladies, bring them over here. So I gotta pay them, so I don't have to pay them as much. So it's a sound strategy.
Yeah.
That's a money saver that he's trying to do right there.
Yeah.
And Rob Black declining to be part of this show. Here's the thing about me. This is just me personally. If someone was going to do an episode on me about anything, good or bad, that I've done in my life, I'm not declining to be part of that show. I'm at least going to stand in front of a camera and tell my side of the story. I will give you my side of the story. And then I'll let the audience decide for themselves who's telling the truth. Because I've always been an open book. Anytime I've ever said I can't talk about something, there was a legal reason behind it.
True.
Like if a lawyer says we can't talk about this legally right now, then I won't do it. Or if I just finished filming something and I can't reveal what's happened yet because it hasn't aired, I won't do that. But once it airs and I can talk about it, I'll tell you everything you want to know. Behind the scenes stories, everything. But legally, I can't talk about it right now. That's the extent. But as far as me personally, I've been open about a lot of things in my life. I've told stories about wrestling. I've told stories about my life. I've told hooker stories. I've told massage parlor stories. I've told fucking embarrassing stories from childhood. I've opened up.
Yeah, same here.
On the show. So I've been an open book. So I can never process somebody being like, I'm not going to be part of this show. Because then you're freeing people up to talk shit about you. Now some people can't be there because they're dead. So you have to speculate. But if you're alive and can tell your story, tell your fucking story.
Tell your story.
Because you want people to hear it from you. You don't want people to go, well, Vinny said this. You don't fucking know if they're telling the truth. You don't.
Nope.
Hell, Zach can do an interview and go, like, you know, one time Vinny said he wanted to get, fucked by a unicorn. And I'm like, I never said that shit. But if I'm dead and he says it, you don't know who's telling the truth. Unless I rise up out of the grave and grab him by the fucking throat. And go, you lying sack of shit. For the record, I've never wanted to get fucked by a unicorn. He's lying if he tells you anything else. Anyway. Shut your mouth. Rob had been in the adult film business his whole life, and in wrestling, he was the ultimate heel. No shit. The things he did porn back then would be the norm today. So basically, back then are stuff you normally see in porn today. Like the bondage and everything else. Because today, people are a lot more open about their sexuality and are a lot more, comfortable being into kinky shit. Especially 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey opened the floodgates for sexual shit. Like the whole Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele and the dominant and the submissive. Like, they're into that, what? What?
You watched that movie.
Yeah, I've seen all 3 of them. What's your point? I didn't read the books.
Gee, once.
They're actually really good. I mean, the acting is really good. 50 Shades of Grey was a good movie, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay,
now,
in case I've never seen them, so I can't judge them.
But the things they're talking about here is stuff like, gaping buttholes and pissing And, golden showers, as we call it.
I'm good on the golden shower.
Puking and really wild sex.
Puking, yes, really wild sex is orgies and everything else what a typical guy would like. Yeah, that stuff right there. I saw some of it. I was like, okay, I could maybe... But what he was doing, I was like...
Now, Lizzie Borden was also a wrestling valet and adult film actress and was married to Rob Black. Once they got together, Lizzie stopped fucking on camera and became a producer and director. And I like that.
Yeah, I did too.
Now, I'm going to be upfront and honest. Obviously, I have nothing against porn stars. I like porn. I've watched porn. Cadney Lynn Carter, I met her many years ago. I consider her a friend. We didn't hook up, but we were friends. We made out, but we didn't have sex. So, I'm just saying, I've met her a couple times, so she's a nice person. She genuinely is. She's one of those really sweet girl next door type of chicks. Don't get me wrong, when she's on camera, she can get freaky with the best of them. But she has a bubbly personality, and she makes you feel comfortable when you're talking to her. Because sometimes there were times where I was talking to her, and I felt like I don't want you to think I'm being creepy. I'm just trying to... I was a little really, really nervous to talk to you. And she said, don't worry, you're not. You're really nice. Whether she's telling the truth or not, I don't fucking know. But she makes you feel comfortable when speaking to her. Okay. Because there are some people that go to meet porn stars and they're fucking creepy. But there are also some guys who are just nervous. And that's the key thing. You got to find the difference between the creeper and just the guy who's nervous. And you can make the nerves go away by simply making the person feel comfortable enough to talk to you. You can make that nerves go away and have a normal conversation. Problem is, that's a power that women have. Some of them like to use it. But anyway, what I'm really trying to say here is that when you're dating or married to a porn star, that aspect can be awkward.
Yeah, true.
I mean, so when they stop fucking on camera and become a producer and a director, then it's easier to be in a relationship with them because they're not fucking anymore. But at the same time, if you're going to date a porn star or a stripper, I'll put both in this category for a minute, and you go into the relationship knowing they're a stripper, knowing they're a porn star, you can't ask them to give that up. The only time you should ever ask a woman to give up her career is if she tries to make you give up yours. That's the only rule that I have. Like, for example, I'm a comedian. If a girl was going to ask me, and I was dating a stripper or a porn star or whatever, and she said, I want you to stop touring on the road and being out of town all the time, I'm going to be like, okay, you can stop fucking on camera? Are you going to get off the stripper pole? Okay, I'll tell you what. You want me to just quit doing stand-up on the road and just be an actor? Okay, well, how about you come down off the pole and just be a bartender? Or how about you quit fucking on camera and be behind the camera? Because if I'm going to quit, you're going to quit. Now, if you want me to respect your profession, you have to respect mine. That's the only time I would ever ask a woman to quit that. Otherwise, you're being selfish because you knew going in. Now, if a girl was secretly a stripper or secretly a porn star and didn't tell you, then you're allowed to say, quit this, because they lied to you. But if they're upfront and honest, then you have to respect that. Now, by that same token, if you are a stripper or a porn star and you tell somebody right off the bat and they politely and respectfully say, I can't date like that, I can't do it, I'm sorry, it's not for me, I respect what you're doing, but it's not for me, then you have to respect their decision. Now, if they're mean to you about it, tell them to go fuck themselves. Yeah. But if they're polite about it, then you have to respect that too. Guys have to respect the fact that a woman is choosing this as her profession. But a woman has to respect that not every guy that's going to want to date you is going to be okay with that. And as long as you can respectfully separate, then that's good.
Yes.
But so I like the fact that she did that, though. I think that was a great choice on Lizzie's part. Because I don't care how comfortable a guy is with this girl being a porn star, you can't watch your girl fuck somebody else.
Nope.
Some people can. I can't. I know if my girl was a porn star, I'd be like, look, you want to watch this movie I'm in? Nope.
No.
I can't watch it.
It's me with another girl.
Put it in. Put it
There
in.
you
Put it
go.
in. Put it in. Put it in.
With a dude, no. With another girl, yes.
I can watch that.
There you go.
I can watch that.
There you go.
And I'm sorry. It's a double standard. I don't give a fuck.
We're dudes.
I don't care. Oh, wait. It's like I'm doing this girl on girl scene. I have one question. Yeah. Can you maybe bring her home? Maybe, you know. I'm just saying.
Practice for your next scene.
I'm just saying you're already there. So why not bring it over here?
And she says, okay. I'm like, yes.
I win. Yay. Although there is one drawback to this.
What?
She had to marry Rob Black.
Poor girl.
No.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
In addition to his precinct for submission pornography, he also emerged with the underworld of hardcore wrestling and eventually strikes a working relationship with Paul Heyman and ECW.
Because if you're going to go into the extreme, who better to talk to?
Than Paul Heyman.
Than Paul Heyman and ECW. They were, you know, especially since they're looking for opportunities to branch out. Because ECW was very much a niche market for wrestling. Wrestling by itself is a niche market. Yeah. Hardcore wrestling is an even deeper niche market. Like, I've always said, when you compare the companies, WCW was a company. ECW was a trend. I love these. I mean, I've seen some ECW pay-per-views. Some of them are really good. Some of the matches are great. Some of them suck. But this did not have a long-term run. Nope. Hardcore wrestling is very much a shelf life because you can only go so far with it.
True.
So ECW was not going to be a company that was going to go on 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It just wasn't. People would have got sick of this eventually. So it's impressive for the run that they had, but it was not going to last long. It just wasn't. Nope. And that's not a knock on Paul. That's not a knock on the talent. That's just hardcore wrestling. You can only go so far with it before eventually people get tired of it or people go, Jesus Christ. Hence, XPW. So, the relationship was built around Rob Black wanting to bring ECW to the West Coast. Because ECW is based out of Philadelphia. That's why they have the Hammerstein Ballroom is like the ECW arena.
That's in New York.
Well, that was one mecca they had.
Yeah.
But Philadelphia was their main spot.
That's what I heard.
I can't think of where, though. But when they would come to New York, they go to the Hammerstein Ballroom. But
okay.
Philadelphia was their main place they were at. So they wanted to move to the West Coast. But then ECW got a network deal, and they kicked Rob to the curb. He got pissed and formed XPW.
Why wouldn't he get pissed? He was too extreme for a network.
Well, no. It was just that the whole purpose was they wanted to bring ECW to the West Coast because they didn't know them on the West Coast. But once they got the deal with TNN, they didn't need him anymore because now you're on network TV.
Exactly.
Everybody can see you now. Yep. They were able to go out to California, go out to Detroit, go out to different places because people knew who they were now. So that's what they did. They would do ECW TV shows they got everywhere. Now TNN, that deal lasted till 2001 when eventually Vince went over to TNN. And then what TNN later became known today as Spike TV. Yep. And then and then after they were on Spike TV, they left and went back to USA Network.
I've been there ever since.
Yes. So he forms XPW to be like, all right, Paul, you want to kick... Because this is how most people in the business react, ironically, is, you know, they try to form a partnership with somebody. That person tells you to fuck off. It's like, all right, now I'm going to run my own company. I'm going to put your ass out of business. And that ego trip goes out there. And oh my God. Once that train starts a-rolling, there's no fucking stopping it.
No, there's not.
There's no stopping it. And if you're one of those people that's been caught in the middle of a feud like that, you know as well as I do, it ain't pretty.
Nope.
It ain't going pretty. Alright. So, that was pretty much what happened here. So that's where everything was going on.
Everything was in the same building. So there would be a wrestling ring in one section and sex scenes being filmed in another. It was basically a building full of sweaty men, women with cum all over them.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Again, money-saving strategy.
Yep.
I have camera equipment for porn. I can bring that over here to wrestling. You know, we can have the wrestling ring and some fans and do our TV tapings or internet tapings here, and then go right over here to where the love scenes are.
Yes.
And all I know is this: if I was running a wrestling and a porn company, I would do the same thing. I would. Again, he's using his female porn stars as valets, so again, it saves money. You know? That way, the only thing he really has to worry about paying for is the wrestling talent. I mean, obviously, the porn people make their money too, but I'm saying, if you got your as valets for the wrestlers, then you ain't got to worry about that. And if you happen to have a wrestler that's also into porn, that helps too.
There you go.
You know, this would have been great for any guys that want to do one. Like, if you can get Val Venus or some shit back then, would have been great.
Yep. Or
some of the divas that were around that also did Playboy, they could have did that stuff. Like, we all know Chyna eventually did a porn, God rest her. Sunny did a porn as well. You know, so there could have been room for both. But yeah, that's pretty awkward with walking around with cum all over them. You know, okay. You think you can take a shower before you go to the wrestling ring.
Or there's a towel.
Get a towel.
Get a towel.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Don't forget to bring towels.
When covered in jizz, make sure you have your own towel.
I'm not saying that, but go ahead.
I don't care. I'm high right now. I have no idea what's going on. Yes, so Sylvia ran a merch table, and a guy came over and said hi while he was jerking off because he had to stay hard for a scene he was filming. Then in another room, there was a pool where a girl was eating chicken, and a dude was peeing on her, and they were filming it. Okay. Okay. Let's wait a second here.
What the hell?
I gotta ask this question. Okay. I get why they're filming this.
Same here.
Okay. You're an actress. You're getting paid. I hope you're getting paid. You're not getting paid. Something's fucking wrong with you. And you're being paid by your boss to film a scene. Eating chicken while a dude is peeing on you.
Ugh.
Here's my question. Who the fuck is buying this DVD?
I have no clue.
Explain to me, please. Who thinks this is sexy?
I sure as hell don't. I call
Who?
it fucking disturbing.
Who?
Years of mental health.
Now, I understand there's some people that are into the golden shower thing. I'll never get it.
Ugh.
But even if I liked golden showers, even if I wanted a girl to pee on me, I would never ask someone to pee on me while I'm eating. If I'm eating, get the fuck away from me.
Exactly.
I don't want sex, period, if there's food in front of me. Okay? I can have sex, I can have food. Unless it's like whipped cream, I'm not having food and sex mixed together. Yeah, whipped cream I will handle. Chocolate syrup, no. I saw two girls do chocolate syrup one time, I almost threw up. It's gross, it's disgusting. Chocolate syrup, because it looks like, because here's the thing. Not gonna say why. Because when the syrup hits the body, it looks like something else. And I'm not, so no. Whipped cream is fine. I like whipped cream. I've done the whipped cream thing before. Yes, I have. One of my exes, actually, the girl I lost my virginity to in college, we did the whipped cream thing.
Was it worth it?
Very worth it.
Okay.
It's sexy. It's sexy if done right. She liked whipped cream. I like whipped cream. No other girl. I don't know if any of my other exes did the whipped cream, like the whipped cream thing, but we just never got to that point.
That's a lot of whipped cream.
What's trying to say, Zach? What's trying to say, Zach?
Nothing.
Trying to fat shame people right now? Is that what you're trying to do?
Have I ever?
Honestly, no. That's the one line you don't cross. Now the guy jerking off, that's a little weird. But if you're somebody if you work in the porn business long enough, you'll get used to shit like that. Mm-hmm. But here's my question: if the guy has to stay hard for a scene he's filming, where's the fluffer? I assume you know what a fluffer is.
No.
Okay, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'll explain. What a fluffer is a girl who, in between takes, sucks a guy's dick to keep him hard.
Huh.
That's usually what a fluffer does.
Oh.
She helps the guy stay hard between takes. Because sometimes they got to readjust the lighting. They got to change the camera angle. So they keep the dude hard and action. Bam, 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 bam. So if he's jerking himself off, that tells me there's no fluffer. Mm. And what porn company doesn't have a goddamn fluffer?
Apparently this porn.
I mean, really? I mean, some women get their start as a fluffer. You know, that's kind of your, all right, you're doing this, then eventually we work you into scenes, and if you get popular enough, you become a regular. That's how some women paid their dues in the porn industry. They would get fluffers to help keep the guy. And that's the only job she has. She's not supposed to make him come. Mm-hmm. She's supposed to keep him hard. All right, action. Then you go. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was weird. But he's just kind of going, hey, Sylvia.
How you doing?
How you doing? How's the kids? How's the family?
Okay.
So where are you going afterwards?
Okay.
So I'm going. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to the movies later tonight. Dude, I just got this chick's number last today. Dude, she was smoking hot, man. Yeah, I think we might go out. I took her to this nice candlelit restaurant. Jesus. I think we're gonna go out to eat. I think we're gonna go somewhere else.
I'm about to fucking hit you.
All right.
Okay, moving on.
All right. Okay. The live event producer was in the cafeteria, and in the room was a girl getting dressed as the Statue of Liberty, getting fucked by guys in presidential masks.
Yeah, that doesn't...
Keep in mind, this is the 90s. This is like 90s, early 2000s, so obviously there's a Bill Clinton mask in there somewhere.
And George Bush.
Senior and junior.
Reagan.
There had to be a Reagan mask.
That it.
I don't know, unless they went farther back with like Jimmy Carter or George Washington,
Reagan,
Abraham Lincoln,
Senior, Junior, Clinton.
Yeah, because like
that's 4.
Yeah, Obama wasn't around yet. I don't think
he wasn't. Oh, hell no.
I don't know, unless because I think he went out of business before Obama got elected. This is it. He started this in 1999. Mm-hmm. So that means that we were in the middle of Clinton's second term.
Yes.
W was about to become the president.
Yes.
And then he would hold on to it until 2008. And I think XPW was out of business by 2008.
Yeah, I think
so. I don't think an Obama mask was going to be involved here. There definitely wasn't a Trump mask.
Nope.
Or a Biden mask.
No.
Because by that time, he was definitely out of business. Hey, we're not talking politics right now. We're just stating facts here. But yeah, something that might have been a Jimmy Carter, maybe a Washington or a Lincoln, a Jefferson. They might have. I don't know how far back they went.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know, but I think it's like they did that. That probably pissed off a couple of people. I would look at it. I would just laugh because look.
Well, it would be all about the presidential mask. They're not going to care about political parties here.
No, there's
going to be Republican, Democrat. They're not going to care. But there's definitely a Bill Clinton mask because A, Clinton was president, and B, Clinton was involved in a sex scandal.
Yep.
So
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Although I am wearing her panties at this current point in time. I did not inhale. Which didn't work in high school, not going to work in an impeachment trial. All right. So, here we go.
And the producer, to help edit the porn in order to get paid for the wrestling, one in which, a.k.a. the Messiah, was a ladies' man of XPW. He got the name the Messiah after taking an unprotected chair shot during a battle royale.
Yes, so that's another interesting thing. Huh. In order to get paid for the wrestling, he had to help edit the porn. Mm-hmm. And this is the producer of XPW. Mm-hmm. So again, this is how the promoter's saving money. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, I'm going to pay you for the wrestling, but you got to help me edit the porn too. Okay? Boom, 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 and he pays him, and he gives him a lump sum for everything. Yep. So that's how you work around that. Because he's basically trying to run 2 businesses on a budget and trying to make sure the majority of the money going out goes to his talent. Because everybody knows in wrestling, you pay the fucking talent.
Yes, you do.
Or God have mercy on your fucking soul. And also, if possible, do cash.
Cash.
Wrestlers don't like checks. They don't trust them. But yeah, so that was pretty much it. And of course, with the Messiah, he's literally their top guy.
Yeah.
He is the man that's kicking ass, taking names, and unprotected chair shot during a battle royal. That's hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Not smart,
No, it's not.
but it's hardcore.
Yep.
So the Messiah, we're going to get to him. This dude was like, he was their main guy. He was the cock of the walk. That wasn't his nickname, but that's pretty much what he was. He was the guy strutting in, you know, the ladies love me, and the guys wish they could be me, but they can't, because I'm the Messiah. And that's not how he talked, but I'm just improvising right there. But yeah, so that's what happened. His day job was working at a steakhouse where he would show up to work with gigs on his face, and they would send him home because customers didn't like it. Mm-hmm. Now, some of you might not know what gigs are. Cuts, yeah. Zach learned that, yeah. Gig, that's like when you got marks on your face from blading, because that's how wrestlers bleed, unless you bust them open the hard way. So they got little cuts on their faces, but he worked at a steakhouse, so customers didn't like the fact that he had cut-up marks on his face. It's like, I'm sorry, someone getting scratched up makes you uncomfortable? Hey, unless there's blood coming out of the mark, how about you shut the fuck up and order your steak? God, people are so picky. Oh my God, I don't like the cut marks on your face. I don't like the wrinkles on your face, bitch, but I'm not saying shit other than may I take your order, cunt. Alright, I'm sorry for dropping the C word there, but you know what? I fucking hate customers that are picky like that. Just order your fucking food.
This is what you should do. Wash dishes like me, because you don't have to deal with the customers whatsoever there, folks. That's why I fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. I understand that, but still.
Exactly. Outside a restaurant, they only put out the beautiful people. So, anyway, what is it? What is it?
Alright. He was a top guy in XPW. He was a pretty boy and held 2 belts at one time. He definitely drank the Kool-Aid from Rob Black as did as everybody else. They gave it their all to make XPW the best. When all they look back, they realized the stupid they were for doing the stunts they did.
Yeah, and that's a price people pay in indie wrestling a lot. You know, happened with Paul Heyman, happened with Rob Black, happened with so many other people, where people just drank the Kool-Aid, but then you look back on it and you realize, why did I do that?
Yeah, I understand.
Why did I fall for that? Why did I believe this guy had any idea what the fuck he was doing?
True.
And that is a harsh reality of the business sometimes. You know, and that's pretty much, you know, what everybody had to go through here. They were very much upset about the fact that they did not, you know, make a lot of money, didn't have a lot of success, and basically fucked their lives up for a company that
treated them like shit.
Yeah. And again, you did a bunch of stupid shit, and you're feeling the pain and paying the price for it now. Which again is why this spot shit kills wrestling. It shortens careers, and it becomes boring to see after a while. If you don't have psychology, if you don't have storytelling, and you just go out there and do a bunch of tricks and shit, you'll be forgotten about in a week. It's dumb as fuck.
Very true, sir.
Yeah. The worst spot was a flaming table that was used with charcoal fluid instead of lighter fluid. Supreme was engulfed in flames, but still thought it was a good match. Okay. I've never met Supreme.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever meet Supreme. And depending on how big of a motherfucker he is, I hope he doesn't see this video if I ever meet him. But I'm going to say this. Supreme's a fucking idiot. Okay, first of all, whose bright idea was it to use charcoal fluid instead of lighter fluid? Here's a little trick. Let me give you a little piece of advice. If you're going to do a spot in wrestling that has been done before, consult with the professionals. Here's an idea. Get Balls Mahoney on the phone. You can't right now, because sadly he's dead, but back then you could have called him.
Sure.
Call the Dudleys. Call Rob Van Dam. Call Taz. Call anybody that ever stepped into an ECW ring. Learn how to do these things the right way. So you don't get hurt. People who do extreme stunts learn how to fall right. They learn how to do this thing, whether it's wear protective clothing, wear protective gel, do certain things. To be like, hey, here's what you do to protect yourself so you don't get hurt as much. That's what trained professionals and trained stuntmen are. They're trained. They learned. They did the stupid shit, learned not to do that again, and became good. That means they can tell you this is stupid, because chances are they probably did that a long time ago when they didn't know no fucking better. Any idiot would tell you, always use lighter fluid. If you're seeing flaming table spots and everybody's using lighter fluid, don't feel like I need to break away from the pack. No, you don't. The crowd doesn't care what fluid you use. Do you really think that there's some asshole up in the stand that's going, that's not lighter fluid? They don't fucking know. Nor do they give a fuck. All they want to go is, ooh, flames on the table. That's all they care about. Use the lighter fluid, light the table on fire, hit the table spot, and do it right. And also, if you're fully engulfed in flames and you're suffering from burns, if you honestly think that was a good match, you should be terminated immediately. Jesus Christ almighty. God in heaven.
XPW gets so popular, ECW fires back by holding Heatwave 2000 in Los Angeles. Rob Black gets XPW shirts for his crew to have sit in front row and start a riot. Chaos throws the X symbols up and ECW throws them out. The ring crew is locked in and the ECW crew beats the fuck out of them. What was even crazier is Rob Black never showed up.
Jeez, I wonder why.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I worked for XPW and I went to that show and I threw up the X symbol and I was declaring war on ECW and then the ECW crew beat the fuck out of me afterwards, and Rob Black, who's supposed to be our fearless leader, doesn't show up, I'm out of XPW. I quit. That's the last time I worked for you if you let me down like that. Are you fucking kidding me? And then, of course, ECW wants to fire back. So they hold the show in Los Angeles, which is, I thought was a good move. ECW is like, all right, we're going to show you who the real motherfuckers are. But XPW had a good point. Let's go bring our guys out. Let's go make our statement. But ECW made their statement while Chaos is like, yeah, we're XPW. And then you found out who the real OGs are. ECW reminded them very quickly, look, motherfuckers. We're extreme. You guys are posers. So keep posing. Do us a favor. We run this extreme shit.
True.
Now, eventually ECW goes out of business. And XPW brings in their top talent. Sabu, Shane Douglas, Terry Funk, Kronos, Chris Candido, Tammy Sitch, I'll bet you it's because of Tammy, and even New Jack. Oh yeah. The original gangster. New Jack. You got some hardcore shit right there. Because they need a place to work. And Vince ain't hiring them.
Nope.
I mean, granted, he would eventually.
Yeah, he did.
But, well, some of them eventually, Sabu and everything. Sabu eventually went over there, but the rest of them didn't. So, New Jack said he didn't care what Paul Heyman felt about him going to XPW. He had to eat and also wanted free porn. Rob ups the violence.
Rob ups the violence, but I don't blame New Jack. I gotta eat and I get free porn, so what can I complain about?
But also, New Jack hated Paul Heyman. So that's why he didn't care. Because he was behind on paying New Jack anyway. Plus, Paul Heyman took advantage of New Jack. New Jack even said, you know what? I want to change my name to Spare Tire. Because he goes, Spare Tire. I want to be known as Spare Tire from now on. And Paul Heyman said, why? He said, because the only reason you take me out, motherfucker, is when you need me. Of course, now, he also wanted the free porn, so apparently he was giving free porn to some of the talent.
There you go.
You know, what guy doesn't want free porn?
Uh-huh.
Until you watch what this shit is.
Yeah.
And Rob's now upping the violence because I've got extreme motherfuckers.
Yep.
So let's get real extreme.
He got pissed at Luke Hawx because he put his hands up to protect the shot. And in XPW, we don't put our hands up. As punishment, he was handcuffed to the ring, hit with multiple chair shots to the head by Supreme. After that, I would have quit. Try to handcuff me, see what happens.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
This should tell you right here that Rob Black is not fit to run a wrestling company. Because let me tell you something. Taking unprotected chair shots to the head doesn't make you tough. It makes you stupid. Especially if it's being done by somebody who can't swing a chair properly. Nobody should be taking unprotected chair shots to the head. Especially with all the concussions going around and CTE controversies. No one should be doing that ever.
No.
You are not tough. You are not badass. You are a fucking moron. You are Sofa King retarded if you take a chair shot to the head unprotected intentionally. So for him to do that was fucking stupid. Luke Hawx was right to put his hands up. Mm-hmm. You always put your hand in the way so your hand can take the shot. That's called being a worker.
Yep.
You fucking marks. That's why nobody respects people who do this kind of hardcore deathmatch shit. Because you're all fucking morons. Because you think the more you hurt yourself, the tougher you are.
Not.
You're not. You're just stupid. You're hurting yourself in a sport that is scripted.
Yep.
Because no matter what type of violence y'all do to each other, guess what? There's a finish and someone's going over before you go out to that ring. That's the one thing every wrestling company has in common. No matter what 3 letters you put up there, they all have one common goal. There's a finish, and someone in advance is winning. And it's predetermined who is going to win. Fucking morons.
True.
The Messiah wanted to quit, but Rob manipulated him to stay. Ooh, no, that feeling not too well. Lizzie would flirt with guys, and Rob would get blowjobs from other women to film sex scenes. Lizzie would go to Messiah when she was depressed. Messiah realizes now he was a chess piece in their mind games.
Of course, he finally figured that fucking shit out. He's a manipulative motherfucker, and you get blowjobs basically cheating on his wife, and his wife didn't do or could do anything. Get fired.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well,
I really do not like this guy.
Yeah. Well, Rob knew that Messiah was his top guy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want your top guy to leave.
No.
So he's convincing him to stay. And here's the thing. So Rob is getting blowjobs from other women, and Lizzie's out flirting with guys. So that's going to make what happens next year even crazier.
Yep.
Because clearly, these two are off doing their other things.
Yeah. Then there were rumors going around that Lizzie and Messiah were fucking. The rumors were true. Rob didn't care if Lizzie fucked on camera, but he did care if Lizzie fucked behind his back.
Yeah, and the rumors were true. They were having sex. Mostly because Lizzie was sick of Rob's shit. Messiah was getting sick of Rob's shit. So they ended up fucking. And here's the funny thing about the wrestling business. Fucking the promoter's old lady, that was one of the few ways you could burn a bridge in the business.
True.
Because back in the territory days, the promoters needed the wrestlers and the wrestlers needed the promoters. Dude literally get into an argument with somebody and be like, fuck you, I'm never coming back here, motherfucker, and go away. And the promoter's like, fuck that guy, I'll never work with him, he'll never come back in this building. Then 6 months later he gets a phone call, Hello? Oh, hey, buddy!
Hey, yeah.
How you been, man? I haven't searched for you in forever. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I'm just finished up this territory. I'm looking to make a move. Oh, dude, you'd be great, man. Fans miss you, man. Come on back. You couldn't burn a bridge unless you shot him or slept with his old lady.
There you go.
Which Messiah did in this case.
Yes, he did.
You know, because that's how the promoters and the wrestlers depended on each other.
Yep.
So, no matter what, months or years down the road, when your territories run out of stars and you need to bring a guy back, eventually you're gonna bring that motherfucker back.
True.
Even if you don't like him, he'll make you money.
True.
So that shit kind of works there. Now, Messiah didn't show up for an event, and rumors of the affair began to circulate. So now they're thinking it's even worse, because why wouldn't Messiah show up?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he's afraid of Rob, or something's going on. Now, Rob forgives Lizzie, but he kicks Messiah out of XPW. Yep. Yeah, the guy he manipulated to stay, he finally kicked him out. Rob threatened Messiah to get out of California, and Messiah said he ain't running.
Eventually came the scuffled match between New Jack and Vic Grimes. Rob Black came up with the idea and said he was going to flip a coin to see who takes the bump off the scufflefold. New Jack said, flip the coin, all you want, but I'm not going off the scuffle. Vic is. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Rob loved the bombs away bump. That was New Jack's last match in XPW. Now, before I read any further, those of you who saw the New Jack video that I did, you know about this story. Zach, do you remember the story?
Yeah, I think so. I think you told me it before.
Well, for anybody out there, here's what happened. At one of the pay-per-views in ECW, New Jack and Vic Grimes had a match. And there was a spot where they were supposed to come off the scaffold through a table. Now, because it was snowing, New Jack was running late to the show. Yeah. So he called Vic and said, hey, go check the scaffold out, make sure it's okay and it's safe for us to use. And he said, all right, I'll take care of it. New Jack gets to the building. He goes to talk to Vic because they're going over the match. And he said, hey, did you check the scaffold? He said, yeah, it's safe. We'll be all right. He goes, all right. So they work the match. They get to the scaffold. They're live on pay-per-view. This is a live pay-per-view. And they're on top, and it's time for them to go suplex off the scaffold. And Vic chickens out. He goes, New Jack, I can't. It's too high. He said, you just checked the scaffold. You told me it was safe. I don't want to go. It's too high. They're doing this live on pay-per-view, by the way. This is live. They're having this conversation on the scaffold on live pay-per-view. So he's like, I don't want to go too high. He goes, look, this is live pay-per-view. We have to go. If we climb back down this, we bury our careers. We have to go. If you thought you should have said something before, and we could have cut the spot out. But now, motherfucker, we going. He said, get ready. We going on 3. And he's like, that's too high. So he's pulling him down with him. Vic does a flip and land, and they miss the table. They hit the concrete floor, and because of that flip, Vic's entire body lands on top of New Jack, and he cracks his skull. Cracked his skull, broke his leg, has insomnia, couldn't see out of his right eye for the rest of his life. He got blindness in one eye, and he had short-term memory loss. Didn't know who he was for 4 or 5 months. And he spent months in the hospital. Because Vic botched. Now, eventually, New Jack goes back to work. Him and Vic are having their rematch in the scaffold match. Vic goes up to New Jack and apologizes. And New Jack says, fuck you. The reason, and here's why he said fuck you. Not just because of the spot, but he said, you didn't even call me. I was in the hospital for months. I sat at home for a year. And you didn't even bother to fucking call me to see how the fuck I was doing. Which again, is a cardinal sin in the business. If you injure somebody in a match, whether you meant to do it or not, hopefully you didn't mean to do it, but if you accidentally hurt somebody, you still have to go up to that person and apologize. Now, here's the catch. That person may or may not accept your apology. They might go, hey, Zach, I'm sorry. You might go, hey, man, it's okay. Accidents happen. I'm all right. Or you might say, Vinny, fuck you. Get out of my locker room. Regardless of how you answer, the fact that I apologized and meant it, I'm off the hook. You don't have to accept it, but I have to give it. That is the rule. And you got to check on the other person. Now, you do this in private. You don't do it at the ring. You don't do it anywhere else. You wait till you get in the back. And then you make your apology. Or you call them on the phone if they're at the hospital. You call them on the phone. You go to visit. You do whatever you got to do to make your apology. And Vic didn't do that. And New Jack was out for revenge.
Yeah.
So the bombs away bump, here's what that is. On the way to the show, New Jack went to a pawn shop and bought a stun gun. And Sandman was there and he told him what he was going to do. He said, what did he say? He goes, he told me he was going to tase the motherfucker. So they get up on the scaffold. They're fighting. Next thing you know, New Jack pulls out the stun gun and tases Vic. And you see him go down and he's shaking because he's being electrocuted. And at one point he goes, Vic looks up and says, Jack, I can't feel my legs. Jack says, you ain't gonna need them. And the bombs away is he throws him off the scaffold. Now, when they set this up, they had 12 tables in the middle of the ring stacked on top of each other all the way up to the scaffold. The plan was for New Jack to throw Vic off the scaffold and he would go through the 12 tables. And the tables would cushion his fall. He would still get hurt, but it wouldn't hurt as much. New Jack threw him past the tables. Because he was trying to throw his ass to the floor, which would have killed him.
Yeah.
If Vic had hit the floor from that height, he'd have died. And they asked him, were you trying to kill him? New Jack went, yeah. But he said it calmly. He goes, so you threw him past the tables? Yeah. Were you trying to kill him? Yeah. I wanted revenge, motherfucker. So he throws him. He clips one table. He hit the ropes and fell back in the ring. The ropes broke his fall. That's the reason Vic Grimes is still alive today. And by some miracle, the only injury Vic sustained from that fall was a dislocated ankle. Didn't break nothing. Wasn't paralyzed. New Jack was pissed about that. But he got his revenge. That's why you see him on top going, ah. And then he climbed down, he looked over at Vic and said, now we even, you fuck. And walked off. And they had to stop the show. They stopped the show. Because Vic had to go get medical attention. Because he threw him, and as he's throwing him, he went, bombs away!
Bombs away. Bye.
And you even hear the announcer go, ah! Screaming as Vic is falling. Now, that was New Jack's last match in XPW.
Yeah.
Because New Jack was getting sick of this shit. He was getting fed up with Rob Black and his bullshit, so all he wanted was his revenge on Vic. Once he got his revenge, he was out. I'm done with this. I'm done with all this shit. Rob Black, you a fucking mark. I'm out.
Out.
The Messiah later admits to fucking Lizzie at a show in Southern California. So finally, they're all chanting about, you fuck Lizzie. He goes, damn right I fuck Lizzie. And she said I got the better dick. He's leaning on thick.
Yes, he is.
Now, he did it to shove it down Rob Black's throat. Now, Rob was keeping tabs on Messiah and was mad that he was still around.
He was in the crowd at an XPW match and somebody tossed around a beach ball and blamed it on Messiah. His friends called him and warned him to get the fuck out.
Yeah, so basically he had to get the fuck out of that building. And now whether or not he was started the beach ball, nobody knows for sure.
Okay.
But because Messiah's in the crowd, they're going to blame him because Rod's pissed at him. Now, later that night, he's at home playing his new GameCube, playing video games. Two guys ran in, locked the door, and jumped him. They got him in a chokehold, but the guy didn't have it in right. He held him down, and they cut his thumb off. See? Look at that. Now his hand looks like this. Look at that. Can't even jack his dick with his hand. Sad. Now, they tried to get his other hand, but they couldn't. They hit him in the back of his head with a fish tank. He tried to get the door, but couldn't open it. because he got no thumb. They beat the shit out of him, and they got blown up. Basically, they got tired. They tired themselves out beating his ass. The Messiah then locked one guy in an arm bar and damn near almost broke his arm. Because he might be missing one thumb, but he got that other thumb, so he's able to grip on tight. And he opened the door, and the guys ran out. He tried to find his thumb, but couldn't, and passed out from the pain and loss of blood.
Who has something to do with this?
Well, here's the thing. This story aired on America's Most Wanted. The Rob Black Messiah feature ended up on America's Most Wanted.
I never do that.
Yeah. I actually found the footage of it. We'll probably put it somewhere where you guys can check it out. Maybe we'll have a link to it in the description box. But yeah, this is a feature on America's Most Wanted.
Okay.
This story. And how he had the missing thumb and he passed out from the loss of pain. Basically sending a message.
Yeah.
And message was received. So Rob told Chaos, be careful who you hang out with. You might get your arm chopped off. Rob hated that he was still friends with Messiah. Everyone in the company believed he had something to do with it.
Okay, yeah. I agree.
And that's another thing that I've learned in the business. If somebody in the business is feuding with somebody else, and you're one of those guys, I said before, that's in the middle, you got friends on both sides, people get mad. There's some people that won't give a shit, and there's other people that will force you to pick a side.
Yeah.
You know, and that's true. There are people who will force you to pick a side if you don't want to. And to me, anybody that forces somebody to pick a side is not a friend. I'm gonna tell you, if you force me to pick a side, I'm going against you, even if I don't hate you, just because I know that I can't trust you. I don't do that picking sides crap, and I don't ask people to pick sides either. If I'm feuding with somebody and you want to be friends with both of us, go ahead, be friends with both of us. All I ask is you keep that motherfucker away from me. If I don't like somebody, you can be friends with them if y'all are getting along great, but don't bring them near me.
True.
That's the only way you're going to lose me as a friend, is if you try to force me to interact with this individual that I don't want to fucking talk to.
Alright.
It's that simple. Yeah. Go be friends with that person, go hang out with that person, go get along.
Yep.
But if I don't like them, keep them the fuck away from me.
Yep.
That's all I ask. Don't ask me to help him with anything. Don't ask me to help both of you with something. It's like, no. If I don't want to be around somebody, I'm not going to be around them. I don't give a fuck. This is how I am. Okay? It's like when Steven and I didn't get along for a period of time. I didn't make you or Desmond or anybody pick sides.
No, I didn't. I saw the whole thing. I was like, yeah, you guys are... No.
I didn't make anybody pick sides.
Nope.
And I would never do that. Now, eventually, Steven and I reconciled and we're friends today. But I don't force people to pick sides. And I don't... He's like, I don't like the fact that you're friends with that person. Well, I am. Doesn't change anything about what we're doing. Second of all, I'm with you because I'm trying to make money and just do a job.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be everybody's best friend.
Nope.
So it was ridiculous.
Rob Black refused to comment on the incident, also not charged for the crime, but eventually get arrested for pushing legal boundaries in adult films in 2002. The world stage kidnappings, rapes, underage sex, not really, and murders. He claimed he was fighting for the First Amendment rights, but he was really fighting for him.
Yeah. And basically what that means, when I say not really, is the actresses that were in the porn videos were of legal age.
Okay.
But they were pretending to be underage.
Yeah, that's where it kind of drew the line.
That's where its issue is. Now, like for example, the girl might be 18, but she might be pretending to be 14 or 15. I think he was trying to cater to an audience that enjoys that kind of shit. Then again, why the fuck would you do that? But the best comparison I can make to that is kind of like with the thing that's going on in porn right now, the step fantasies. You know, like when the guy's like, hey, you know, like the guy has sex with the stepmom or the stepsister or his actual mom or his actual sister. The actor and actress in that film are not really related.
No, they're not.
But they're pretending to be for this scene.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, I've seen some of the step fantasy things before. And here's the thing. The fact that I already know in advance that they're not really related is why I'm able to watch it. I think if I actually knew in real life they were related, I couldn't watch it.
True.
I wouldn't be able to sit through that.
No.
If I knew they were actually, if they were related in real life and putting this on the internet, I couldn't watch it. But because it's acting, I could somewhat watch it. You know, but that's the thing. And they stage kidnappings, which I've seen some people do that. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, just weird.
And then the rape thing is that...
Yeah, draw my line on.
That's a complicated one. Because obviously I don't want to watch somebody getting raped. But there are some people who are into, like, that type of sexual fantasy. There are some girls who are into that. There are some girls that they like a guy to just, pin them down, hold them down, and fuck them.
Yeah.
There are some girls who are into that.
Yes.
And there are some guys who are willing to do that. The problem is the girl doesn't want the guy to know in advance that she likes that. And it's kind of like this old Louis C.K. joke they told a long time ago where he was making out with this girl and he goes to put her hand down her pants. She stops him. He goes to do it again. She stops him. Things are getting hot and heavy. He tries a third time. Stops him. So eventually he goes home. Nothing happens. Mm-hmm. He eventually sees that girl again. She goes, how come we didn't have sex last night? He goes, because you didn't want to. She goes, yes, I did. I was really into it. He goes, then why did you keep stopping me? He said, because I wanted you to just go for it. Oh. He's like, what? He goes, I get turned on when a guy just goes for it, takes what he wants, holds me down, and fucks me. That really turns me on. And he said, well, I wish you would have told me. I would have happily done that for you. And she goes, no, it has to feel real and dangerous. And Louis C.K. goes, are you out of your fucking mind? He's like, what do you think? I'm going to rape you on the off chance that hopefully you're into that shit? And everybody starts laughing because it's true. If you're into that kind of fantasy, you have to tell somebody. That's something you need to make known. And some guys might try it if you're into it. Now, the trick is this. You tell the guy you're into it, but you let him know in advance that you're into it, and then you can let the guy plan on his own when he's going to grab you, hold you down, and fuck you. That way you get your danger. But he still has to know that you're into that shit. So if you're in that moment, you want to have sex, you just got to have it the normal way.
Yep.
You got to have it the normal way, and then while you're laying there, cuddling, talking, whatever, then you can say, hey, this is the kind of sex I'm into. Because if you're into that kind of sex, there's nothing wrong with it. Whatever turns you on and is legal, let me circle, underscore, highlight the words, is also legal. Legal. L-E-G-A-L. Legal. Whatever turns you on and is legal, go for it.
Yep.
I don't judge people's sex lives. Some people are into kinky shit. I've had exes who were into kinky shit. We gave it a try. Some of it we were like, that's really good. We'll keep doing that. Others are like, well, we're never doing that again.
No.
So that's what we understand. And murders. What?
What murders?
I mean, the only time I've seen that is in like softcore, those Skinamax movies where somebody like dies of drinking poison or some shit. Like, why? Why would anybody want to see a murder in a porn unless it's one of those that are telling a story about a detective mystery,
yeah, and
they're trying to solve who murdered somebody, but while they're looking for clues, there's sex along the way. Maybe I can get that.
Yeah.
But, like he said, he's claiming I'm fighting for First Amendment rights. Like, no, you're fighting for yourself. Because again, back then, porn was very much looked down upon back in the 90s, early 2000s. Mm-hmm. Like, because a lot of people today are more accepting of sexuality. But you understand, it's like the People versus Larry Flint.
Yeah.
The Hustler magazine. Mm-hmm. People were attacking pornography. Some people were attacking it for religious reasons. Some people were attacking it because they thought it degraded women. Some people were going after it because they just thought it was disgusting. And some people just didn't like porn and thought it was wrong. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
It's all in who presents the material.
True.
Some porns are not good.
Nope.
I find out they are, and I don't watch them anymore.
No.
But sometimes I find one that's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to watch.
Yes, it is.
If you're single and you're not getting laid a lot, it's a good way to, you sit in a room, you jerk off, you finish up, and then you move on with your day. It's a good. I found it's a great stress reliever. It's gets the blood. You feed the geese, keep the blood flowing, as Matthew McConaughey would say. It's perfect. It's a great thing to do.
Yes, I hear you.
And also here's another thing, guys, and I've learned this. If you're watching porn, the best thing you can do when you're done jacking off and all that, take notes. You see some cool shit, and then you try it, and there are some girls who are very thankful.
Yes, they are.
Oh, are they thankful in ways you cannot imagine? Come for me, and you'll be in a world of pure ejaculation. Rob said when they get raided by the feds, go to Kevin. It happened because he challenged the government on TV. He called it a war on pornography. Now, oh God, that's the worst thing you can do. If you are getting in trouble with the feds, and you go to war with the government, guess what?
You're gonna lose.
Yeah, well, not necessarily you're gonna lose. That's not the thing. You now put the target on your back even more because the government loves nothing more than silencing the people. As long as the people are silent, submissive, and do thy bidding, you're fine. But once you start being that alpha male, saying the government's a piece of shit, y'all are corrupt, y'all lie to us, y'all are pedophiles, whatever crazy shit you want to say, that's when they're like, oh, really?
Okay.
Well, here's how powerful we really are.
Yep.
Guess what?
Yep.
Next thing you know, you're hooked on heroin and you're waking up in Guantanamo Bay with a guard serving you a cocked meat sandwich.
Okay, then, moving on.
Yes.
Checks were bouncing. Legal fees were around $50 million. They couldn't produce movies, which means he couldn't finance a wrestling company. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute obscene materials. He got a year and a day in prison, as well as his wife, Lizzie. She left him, I think.
Well, I don't want to say that she left him, just they both got a year and a day in prison. The question is, did she divorce him when she got out? Because they both got a year and a day in prison. Because he pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute obscene materials.
Yeah.
So the wrestling company was pretty much done because the porn was being used to finance the wrestling. Which again, I'll say, not a bad way to finance your company. Because people love to buy porn.
People like wrestling. They like both.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There are some promoters and some people out there who use their day jobs or their shoot jobs to supplement the wrestling. They use the money from that to build their wrestling company. And also sometimes to pay talent and everything else. And that's also why they get sponsors. The sponsorships help pay the talent, build things up, take care of everything you need to pay, because there's a fuck ton of expenses and operating revenue to operate a company. Mm-hmm. So porn was not a bad way for him to go for that. The problem is the porn he made was fucked up.
Yeah, too fucked up even for our taste.
Even for the most perviest of men.
Very pervious of men.
Yes. When he gets out of jail, he leaves the world of wrestling behind. And his marriage to Lizzie comes to an end. So you were right. Once they got out of jail, Lizzie divorced his ass. Then I am dropped the loser. We're not putting up with this shit anymore. And despite everything that happened, the guys and gals don't regret their time in XPW. Because they loved the show and the fans and the friendships they made.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So sometimes that is a benefit to working in certain places. Mm-hmm. You know, you form friendships with people, you get your foot in the door, and sometimes when you have a bad experience working at a company, wrestling or otherwise, the benefit you can find is, okay, I got something good out of this.
Yeah.
And even though you might have a lot of bad things to say about a place you used to work for, wrestling or otherwise, even though certain people you may never talk to again, if you can find at least one minimum, but if you can find one or more good things that came out of that experience, then you know you didn't waste your time.
Very true.
That's the benefit.
Yeah.
If you can find something that you got out of it, whether it was money or, like you said, friendships, the fans. You might have a fan base from XPW that might follow you somewhere else if you get signed somewhere else. You know? The friendships you made. You might still hang out with some of those guys and tell stories about how fucking crazy that time was. So, if you can find something good that happened in that time, then you didn't waste your time in that company. But if it was miserable the whole time, then you definitely wasted your time and was better off doing something else.
Very true, sir.
And New Jack says the only historic moment he had was throwing Vic off the scaffold.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's all New Jack cared about.
Yep.
When it came to XPW. And they say Rob Black is currently running a burger joint somewhere back east.
Surprised he didn't say anything.
I am too. Like I said, I thought that he would have, wanted to defend himself on some accusations and tell his side of the story. Especially since Rob Black was a guy who wanted all the glory.
Yep.
I think he ran for mayor at one point, I heard.
Would you vote for him?
No. You can't be trusted to run a porn or a wrestling company. I'm going to trust you to run a town?
Yeah, no.
No. No, you failed at porn and you failed at wrestling.
Very true.
I've seen people fail at wrestling. I don't know anybody that's failed at porn. Nobody. There are adult film industries everywhere. Porn is $1 billion industry. The problem is he went for a genre that creeped out everybody. Now, granted, like you said, some of the things that he did in his porns are okay today. But then there was some that wasn't. And again, the time period makes all the difference. Because there are some things that were inappropriate years ago that are appropriate today.
Yeah.
For example, there was a time in history, like I'm going way back to like the 30s, 40s, 50s, 1920s, that kind of shit. Like, did you know the Brady Bunch was controversial?
How?
Here's why they were controversial. Because Carol and Mike Brady slept in the same bed.
Oh.
If you go back to any sitcom before that, what do you normally see?
2 beds.
2 beds, husband and wife. And space in between. Why? Because they didn't think it was appropriate to show that on TV. Even though, as adults, they know, in real life, parents share one bed. Mm-hmm. They have sex to have their kids. Plus, if you notice, when Mike, because there were scenes with Mike and Carol in the Brady Bunch, at some point in the show, whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end, you're going to see the two of them sitting in bed together.
Yes.
They're going to talk like a regular couple, and then what do?
What?
They pull the covers over their head. They drop down, pull the covers over their heads, and the scene goes to black.
Yep.
That's supposed to indicate they fucking now. That's how they signaled, now we're going to be doing some biblical shit.
Biblical shit.
That's what we're doing now. So back then, that was inappropriate. And today, it's, nobody really cares. They look at things a lot differently as life progresses. Some things that were inappropriate then are inappropriate now. Like if you were a pregnant woman, and if you were pregnant, they didn't put you on television. Now if you're, and I mean like real life pregnant, not pregnant like in the skit.
Yeah.
In real life, you got pregnant, it was scandalous to have you on TV. Today, it don't matter. They'll do certain tricks to hide the pregnancy belly or make jokes about it. Like, geez, you look pregnant. Do I? And the crowd's laughing because they know that actress in real life is pregnant. So they do bits like that. Rob Black was ahead of his time with porn. Some of this stuff would work today. A lot of it wouldn't. Because again, the world was not as sexual back then as it is today. So there's a lot of differences in that. But at the end of the day, Rob Black was a mark with money who fucked a lot of people over and went insane. All right. Well, anyway, that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll conclude this episode of Darkside of the Ring. Zach, thank you for joining me this week. Make sure you guys tune in next week. We have what might be our final episode of Boochcast Reviews Darkside of the Ring. But that all depends on whether or not there's going to be a season 4. And next episode we got the steroid trials.
The steroid trials.
That's right. The big trial that almost killed the business dead. We're going to get into that next time. So make sure you guys are following us on all of our podcast platforms. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Links are down in the description box below. Make sure you guys are following us on all of our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. The links are down in the description box below. And of course, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and ring that bell to be notified when future content will be posted. Don't miss another episode of Boochcast Reviews Darkside of the Ring, as well as other exclusive Boochcast YouTube content. And of course, support the Boochcast. Go to anchor.fm/theboochcast/support. The link is down in the description box below. You know the spiel by now. I ain't got to share it to you, so we'll talk to you guys next time. Until then, pizza, baby!